Hello everyone, welcome to this special edition of Onstage, a deep look at the tumultuous life of the cool ruler, Gregory Isaacs. And will the real Mrs. Isaacs please stand up? One will be right here on stage. I am Winfred Williams, expressing our condolences to the family and friends of Gregory Isaacs. We'll be right back.
Reaching more and more screens around the world every week. Onstage, so much more than entertainment.
Welcome back. He was one of the biggest names in reggae, yet very few people knew who he really was. Today we seek to demystify the late great Gregory Isaacs. Born in Fletcher's Land, Kingston in 1950, Gregory Anthony Isaacs experienced all the hardships and challenges related to life in Kingston's ghettos before he found music.
Well, no Gregory from Liquor Youth days, man. The one from Liquor Youth days, Metcalf Street, used to live in. And that is just around the corner from where he grew up. So he's about 3 years younger than I am still. You know what I mean? But we all grew up within that region as youths, you know, see?
I was still a bigger youth than Gregory. Gregory used to go out in school. I used to hang out across the road and go in and we used to walk, go home by last street and you know each other like that, you know.
Like others before him, young Isaacs began his quest for a music break by courting producers and entering various talent competitions in the late 1960s.
I remember one night there was a talent show and at St. Anne's Church in Bond Street at West Kingston and the whole ever go on there and thing. I mean, I never know what to could I see I tell you true. I mean the man cause toothache could call him, you know, cause my eyes have a toothache.
Somebody always suffer from toothache. The man always die jar.
And when I see the man go up there and eat up the place, I have Ken Bood and every man. After hear him up, call him back twice, been sing a not cold tune.
The youths of that region started to get involved in music and use it as a method to get themselves out of all kinds of, you know, temptations and depressions and sufferation.
Gregory Isaacs was someone who was a little, you know, kind of from the ghetto in the underground and kind of chose music as an avenue to pursue versus the kind of rude boy style.
You could see that he was cut out to be a star, so to speak, because he had it both in his voice and as a person.
Isaacs' first recording was a duet titled Another Heartbreak for Byron Lee, just after Jamaica's music changed from ska to rocksteady in 1968. The recording turned out to be a real heartbreak for the duo and its producer, as it was virtually ignored by music fans. It took several more failures, including a stint as a lead vocalist in a group known as the Concord, before Gregory found favor with music consumers.
Now who's gonna hold and squeeze my time?
For some people it took much longer, some people never bust any at all. So it was his determination, as this record would show us, that him being determined and stay with it over time, he's become the giant that Gregory Isaacs has become.
It seemed to be a process of most great artists that basically takes a time for the world or the industry to recognize their uniqueness versus what's happening currently, and his style of singing was unique.
A lot of people never know, but Gregory Isaacs plays the guitar. And anywhere he is trying to make music with his guitar. So, as a man who have that kind of a drive to be on top, to be at the top of things, he knew that it would take him some time to be prepared.
I mean, Gregory was always a focused person with his music, and I mean, how he deal with everything. I mean, it was like, it get me involved in that same, I patternized that same lifestyle in the music business.
Now that my love is overdue, now that my love is overdue,
The year was 1973, and Isaac's overdue love came only after he had set up a label known as African Museum in partnership with Errol Dunkley, a move that gave Isaacs full creative control over his work.
She wasn't the best girl, but she brought happiness into my world.
Robert Livingston, the man who managed Shaggy to multi-platinum success, was a rookie in Gregory's camp at the time.
Most of the musicians those days started to get focused on their own career and I mean directing their own life and see what they need to do, how focused they need to get, so take control. And I think that's when I started to realize what was happening to Gregory Isaacs, Bunny Wales, and Dennis Brown. Dennis Brown had Dead Music, Gregory Isaacs had African Museum, Bunny Wales had Salamanic.
Now that my love is overdue.
Love is Overdue was just the first of a string of number ones to come from Gregory Isaacs, most being romantic ballads crooned in his inimitable style.
So far, come turn me on.
When all the crosses and trial and tribulation, let's make love, you know what I mean? Gregory's a man who is skillful at that, you know what I mean? Winning the hearts of the empresses and thing, and, you know, playing around with the whole love affair that it's very humorous and sometimes very serious, you know what I mean? But then again, I would see him as the Frank Sinatra of reggae.
You say that you're too young, too young.
Gussie Clark produced some of the biggest smashers.
We did a couple of album projects together, which, you know, Private Beach Party, Red Rose for Gregory. You know, we did a whole lot of work, and combinations Gregory and Dennis Brown, you know, we did a whole lot of work.
Days of violent roses are no longer around.
Lift up my hat to him as a songwriter. Gregory Isaacs was one of the rude boy who write love songs. So he's not like the rest of the guys who wasn't a rude boy. Gregory Isaacs was really a road boy who write love songs, and the way he delivers them, it was totally different.
Please meet me at the corner. Down your avenue.
In the mid-1970s, Isaac's lyrics, like most of his compatriots, began to reflect the wave of social turmoil sweeping the island at the time.
Them a walk, them a loot, them a shoot. Babylon, them a brew.
Gregory was now sporting dreadlocks and embraced the Rastafarian way of life.
I think Gregory Isaacs embraced everything, you know, because he joked about everything. So I don't know how deeply religious Gregory was as a Rastafarian, and personally, to be quite honest, I don't really think so. Because I mean, Gregory in him trim. Gregory, I mean, there's this famous joke where we saw Gregory eating chicken, you know, and Gregory would joke to the people and like, okay, go and go tell Selassie you see me, I eat it.
Mainly that I think Gregory was a true Rastafarian. He lives that lifestyle. He was a person who lived a decent lifestyle, was always focused, teaching us, always talking to the youths, always dealing with the youths.
Then people might feel like, say, when a man trimming no Rasta no more, you know what I mean? But Gregory is a Rasta man for sure. And I know that, and regardless of the circumstances surrounding, everyone has their hobbies and their habits, you know what I mean? But their spiritual and moral, the part of them there is something that is always there. And Gregory is a very loving person, you know what I mean? Within all of what he does, he's a moral person. And that is something that I embrace coming from Gregory Isaacs, 1000%, because when a one is true to themselves, dealing with clean hands and pure heart, you know what I mean? And the man run down vanity and bow down to a whole heap of them kind of legacy there, you know what I mean? And them respect them have for Gregory Isaacs.
But if I don't get my desire, then I'll set the station to fire. My temperature is getting much higher. Got to give what I require. Slave master, I'm the shepherd of my pasture.
In 1976, Gregory founded a venture called Cash and Carry.
Cash and Carry now, as you mentioned, is that kind of a distribution center that we all put together and set up. Myself, Gregory, Dennis Brown, Junior Delgado, Big Youth. That was kind of run by an individual, Trevor Douglas, who known as Lego Beast.
Yeah. I mean, one day I was downtown and he said to me, say, Lego, are you more in control of my career, you know? I say, yeah, man. He say, because all of we used to hang out, Gussie Clark, Big Youth, Dennis Brown, all of we used to hang out, Chancellor and Bongo, man. All the singers them you can think of. Johnny Clark all the way hang out, the Chancellor and behind Randy's. And Mr. Man, I used to work with Dynamic Sounds and I leave the work and I sell my record now and sell little clothes and things on my bike and work come and say, dog, are you more in control of my car? I say, yeah, man. Because him so me that deal with Big Youth thing, you know? Me that deal with Big Youth business and him say, I'm more young and come. I say, well, anything you say, and him say, me have an office, a little room for 90, give me up at 118 Orange Street. So we go up there, we clear up the place and we start going to him, start producing himself, and we make a little label, Cash and Carry.
We were trying to find a way of selling, marketing our product in that kind of a unified manner, coming out of downtown Music Street, you know, Orange Street, the Beach Street, you know what I mean? And it was working for a while until, you know, sometimes the bed get a little too big for the amount of people. So everyone had to start laying their own beds, you know, set their own beds. So you went to African Museum, you know, and I Solomonic Production, I started that, and Dennis Brown started his Deb thing, and, you know, and things like that. So
at the turn of the 1980s, Gregory Isaacs signaled his arrival among the A-list stars in reggae. He had signed a recording deal with Virgin Frontline Records back in '78 and was now one of the most sought-after reggae luminaries in the British and other European markets.
You're rocking too fast for me. La da da da.
At the same time, Jamaica's mainstream sound had begun to change. The dancehall sound, which was created underground by sound system operators, was now the craze among the youth. So much so that very few artists from the reggae and rocksteady eras were able to get their attention. Gregory Isaacs, who had been given the title Cool Ruler, was one of the few, and though signed to Virgin, retained his African Museum label, under which he maintained relevance among the youths by recording for independent producers. But the world was calling, and the Cool Ruler was ready to answer. Using Britain as a springboard, Gregory toured extensively between 1980 and 1982, generating frenzied crowd scenes at almost every stop.
Gregory Isaacs was playing like 2 nights in one in Rainbow in London, 2 solid nights. He played in that place and sold it out. Yeah, he was one of the artists that never had a big major success, but in England he was like the man. Trust me, you would never imagine how his performance was.
Make it cool and the best for me, pretty woman.
Gregory, however, was beset by personal and legal problems and was even jailed in Kingston's notorious General Penitentiary. Coming up, Isaac's incarceration, battles with hard drugs and cancer, and a special one-on-one with one of the 2 Mrs. Isaacs. All coming up right here on stage.
But she can't, and so she do it how she want. Yeah.
Reaching more and more screens around the world every week. On stage. So much more than entertainment.
In December of 1983, Gregory Isaacs was firmly established as an international recording star and father of 10 when he and longtime soulmate June Wyndham decided to tie the knot.
I think she was a good choice, for Gregory, as as the kind of character person she is. She's a very humble, quiet, and that kind of a woman that a man would want to have in his abode.
I think maybe I'm one of the first person that she met as Gregory Isaacs' friend. So we was riding together. We drive to St. Thomas, to Yala St. Thomas, to see her. And the first time she came to the studio, for everybody to approve of her, everybody came over and said, "This nice lady." We was happy because Gregory Isaacs now finds somebody that he really loves. I mean, I guess he loves all his children, mothers, and everything, but now he looked like he wanted to settle down.
The two had been a steady item for over 5 years, during which June, a young teacher from Portland, adopted Isaacs' Rastafarian lifestyle. And though none of the 10 children were conceived with June, she became mother to all.
We had just bought a house at East Kings House Road. He had just signed with Island Records, and we took all of them. So
you took all the kids?
Right. We had all 10 kids living there.
You became mother for all of them?
Mother. So at that time, I didn't see the need for
having your own?
Mm-hmm.
The newlyweds were still enjoying the bliss of marriage in 1984 when Gregory was arrested and charged for illegal possession of firearm. Isaacs pleaded guilty to the charge and was released after about 6 months behind bars at the General Penitentiary and paid a fine of $12,000.
I've been charged for illegal possession of firearms. You're supposed to know about it. The time for 2 guns different the scene and them. I regret, but I have some great experience. I learn a lot differently. See, when you really find yourself more time is when you're alone by yourself, You get to look into yourself. I read a lot different than fight a lot too.
It's the first time I ever seen a man incarcerated but so well relaxed as if he was at home. It was a time when people were getting into that kind of trouble. Peter touched himself and got into trouble probably a little bit before that. Uri had gotten himself into a little problem at one stage, so too was Alan Cole among other people. But for the most part, it didn't deter Gregory Isaacs himself, and it didn't deter us, his fans.
Rock-a-bopping make you bad so. Bubbling on the radio, and we rule. Rock-a-bopping.
Well, you see, incarceration in Jamaica is a thing where you can expect from the kind of system we were living on. I was incarcerated. You didn't know that? Yes, I went to jail in 1967. Toots went to jail. 5446, that's the number that they gave him as a prisoner, as a convict, as they would put it. My number was 5640. You understand what I'm saying? So, incarceration for a spliff, for a jar, or sometimes a rude boy, as usual, wounding, if it comes down to that, because he defend himself, or I'm defending family, or I'm defending whatever. And sometimes it comes down to where the police comes into play based on the nature of the defense or offense, depends on how the police see it. So that's the way of the ghetto. That's the way of the environment that we all grew up in. And it's not every man can really resist the temptation sometimes. Sometimes you try to walk away from it, but then again, it's so confronting that you have to just deal with it.
I was taken from my people, robbed of my liberty. I was tired of the jailers, but the jailers wasn't tired of me.
Upon his release from jail, Isaacs dropped Out There, a single that quickly became a dancehall favorite. But it wasn't long before the Cool Ruler was again in trouble with the law. Isaacs' police record shows that by 1986, he had been arrested, charged, and fined on all of 3 separate occasions for possession of cocaine, the substance that would plague his life and work to the very end.
The more them get it, and the more them want it.
I knew of it. We all know, everybody know, the whole industry know. It's not a secret. And Gregory never made it a secret, But he'll warn you, you keep away from it.
Gregory Isaacs, as I say, is a clean hand and a pure heart. And if he entrusts in one to be there for him and believe that you should be there for him, it's like letting him down, you know, as someone who he believes in, would let him lean to find another comfort, another friend. You know what I mean? And it's out of that, which I would not really go into the whole issue, that I think contributed to Gregory starting to use that substance.
We make a song named Hide and Lick, him say not hide and do him thing. So the whole world knew that Gregory was doing what he was doing. And I don't think he was really proud of it either. But him in his own way thought that this is me, this is what I want, this is what I am, and this is what I'm going to do. One thing nobody can say, Gregory was never a rowdy, or go around and make trouble. None of that. Gregory was just a cool ruler, Gregory Isaacs. And Ray Charles was a brother who was strung out on drugs, so. Yeah. But it didn't deter him from making some of the greatest songs there ever was. Look at Michael Jackson. You cannot erase what Michael Jackson have done musically because of his drug problem. So too you can't erase the work that Gregory and Dennis have done because of their drug problem either. It's just people. And at the end of the day, God is our ultimate judge.
Him start take it until still it start hold on to him. He want to let it go, but it not let him go. But within all of that, he maintained control.
Talking about hard drugs.
In the late 1980s, Isaac's legal woes and substance abuse dried up practically all his financial resources. And in a bid to earn his way out of the predicament, recorded for any producer that called. And soon the market was flooded with Gregory Isaacs releases. In 1997, Sly and Robbie re-recorded Night Nurse featuring Simply Red. Night Nurse. Penned by Gregory in 1983, the cover hit big in Europe, generating substantial publishing royalties for the reggae star, and was the hot number on the Rhythm Twins' 1999 Grammy winner, Friends.
I always compose songs that other people can hear and like. The different things. I didn't expect they would do what that people do, but it happened, you know. Yeah. That's what I'm like. Yeah. From school days, I like when they call composition. That's one of my favorite subjects. My night nurse.
Only you alone can quench this thirst. Coming up, Isaac's amazing comeback to touring after 8 years. Also a closer look at Gregory Isaacs, the father, husband, the man, and his final days in this life, including a one-on-one chat with June Isaacs, the first woman he married, and whether they were still legally wed when Gregory married another woman in London just before his passing. All coming up right here on Stage.
I don't want to see no dark. I need attendance from my loves around the clock.
In 2006, the Cool Ruler, in a bid to revitalize his career, embarked on an extensive tour of the world. After 8 years in the wilderness, veteran tour manager Copeland Forbes was the man behind that mission.
We started in February, right, at the Bob Marley Ragamuffin Festival in California. And since February, he has been touring consistently.
In September, the tour was down to the last 3 shows on the US leg when Gregory reportedly developed a life-threatening illness. Onstage joined the tour in New Jersey and found the Cool Ruler not only in good health, he was still ruling.
Here we are now, standing with the Cool Ruler, who is still very cool and still ruling, coming off this stage in Washington, D.C., Maryland, where the place is on fire, still asking for more from the Cool Ruler. Gregory Isaacs, congratulations, sir. That was a fantastic performance.
True. Thank you very much for that. Thank you. True.
Rumors them spreading.
So while this rumor was being spread, you were alive and well and working?
Every time I never miss a show, I'm alive and well working all over, staying on the place, same way, so I don't know how it comes.
You didn't seek medical attention though?
No, well, I had an upset stomach, you know. I was eating some curry or something like that. And you know, overnight. What happened now? Yeah, true.
After the show in New York, the next morning he called me and he said he was feeling some pains in his chest, you know, and he wasn't feeling too good. I didn't know what was it. So the best thing for me to do was to call a doctor.
Isaacs had a marvelous tour, surprising even the organizers with the kind of responses he received. He was a hit at every venue.
I was very surprised because we went to Mexico in Tijuana and he drew 4,500 people, and these were like 98% Mexican singing all his songs, and to see him make this strong comeback after all the things I've been hearing. A lot of people have come to me and said, what did you do to Gregory to have him performing like this? I said, listen, just sit down with him and show him that reggae music is a music to reckon with, and he took it seriously, and he's out doing his thing, and I'm very proud of it.
Feeling good about it, different. The scene was very nice, the response was very nice all over, and you know, I will continue to work.
Were you surprised about the way people were responding to you in all the various markets?
But to be frank, that really surprised me the world, you know, although I know still then, you know, people too, and I represent John public, so I try my best to please the people. Whatever time the people is pleased, I'm pleased, so always please them, you know.
The Cool Rulers fan base has no age, class or race limits. They come from all walks of life.
He's
a living legend, and the people love him to the full max. Everywhere sold out. And it's a pleasure for us, the crew, to be working along with Gregory Isaacs.
Yes! We won't do you like that, boy! Yes! Love him always.
Gregory, wicked as usual.
I was not seeing Gregory Isaacs in a long time, and he looked good.
Gregory's sweet, man. Just want a night nurse.
On July 28, 2009, Gregory was still blazing a trail on the road when he found out that chest pains he was having were symptoms of a malignant tumor. And after ignoring the doctor's order to remove the tumor for over a year, all the while still performing, the Cool Rulers' reign came to an end in London, October 25th at about 4 a.m. Jamaica time.
As one who always gives emotion to the music, every time that it might find itself in a relaxing mood, Gregory Isaacs always come with something to revitalize it. You know what I mean? And that is what I'm going to miss.
As a singer, excellent. There's no question about him himself that way. So other than that, he's just a fun-loving person. He's very kind. He will give him all, and he always will make sure those around him is always happy and all right.
But it's one thing him tell me the other day, to tell the world about him. When I read Psalms 41, he said, read Psalms 41. Everybody asks you about my dog, tell them, read Psalms 41. And next thing my man always say, I remember when in Arena, when Dennis Brown funeral, and me and him and Robert Livingston and Roddy and few of us all there, and him come on and say, Brethren, the gift of death is for all of us. He don't go say D. Brown take him on too early. Upon his brethren, D. Brown and Gregory Isaacs. Because them two brethren there was for me. Them two brethren they make me see the world a different way too. By helping me and me helping them. You know, see, because them was a strength for me and me was a strength for them.
I personally think that all those who have interacted with Gregory were more fascinated by Gregory's quick-wittedness, Gregory's personality, and the humorous side of Gregory. I mean, for example, one day at some point I saw a young man came to me in his tie and properly attired as if he's an office executive, and he handed me a note from Gregory Isaacs, and Gregory Isaacs signed. This person is now working me and is assigned to collect my outstanding royalties, and he signed the letter Hitler, and he draws a gun as his signature. This is the kind of funny things that he does. So I think his humor and his personality is what, more than anything, those who were around him would really relate to and or remember. Those who don't would remember him by his music, because that's all you had to interact with or to understand. But I think as a person, will only be one, ever was and only will be one. Gregory Isaacs was a unique human being. And until this day, he has an impression upon me of which I'll never forget.
Hard work and focus and very funny. He will make you laugh, man. I'm telling you. Gregory was like a sample. There's nobody else in the world like Gregory Isaacs. Gregory Isaacs is one of them personally. I look up to him a lot. I mean, anything goes with Gregory. Gregory is the kind of person who will, and he's very kind. He'll go buy a pair of shoes, and you're with him, he'll make sure you get one. And yeah, he will wear the same shoes. He's not like some artist, boy, he has to wear something better than you. Gregory's not like that. I can't imagine the music business without him.
Gregory was knowledgeable of the business. A lot of people didn't know that. He was knowledgeable. He was no fool to the music business. The thing about, if I get Gregory on a good day, well relaxed, where nothing interferes, you learn a lot from Gregory. He shares a lot of wisdom with you. As a road manager, one of the things that I've learned about Gregory is tolerance, patience, and good negotiation skills.
His music is going to live on and on because the amount of souls that he has touched around the world, and to see that even in this time, today, right, his passing, I mean, I have been bombarded with emails and phone calls as far as BBC, CNN, API, all around the world. And I could not believe it. I was getting calls from Brazil, from Argentina, from Australia, and everybody was just zooming in, and I said to myself, boy, this man has touched so many souls around the world. I remember a couple of years ago when he celebrated his 30-something years at the Jamaica High Commission in London, and the High Commission sat there and she recited one of his songs that she said she grew up on, and it was so a pleasure for her to sit there and look at the man who actually wrote the song, and she will never forget it. And I will never forget those great moments, and may his soul rest in peace.
For decades of timeless contribution to the reggae story, whether romantic ballads or culture tunes, performance in Africa, Europe or Jamaica, Gregory Isaacs' cool yet hypnotic style will never be erased from the minds of fans the world over. After the break, June Isaacs, the first woman he married, and whether they were still legally wed when Gregory married another woman in London just before his passing.
Would love to put this to sleep right now because the focus is being shifted.
Reaching more and more screens around the world every week. Onstage. So much more than entertainment.
Welcome back. Since Gregory's passing, there has been lots of speculations about who is the real Mrs. Isaacs. This after a British woman declared that she is Isaacs' wife. But how could that be when there is already a Mrs. Gregory Isaacs here in Jamaica? She is June Isaacs, who joins me right now on stage. June, welcome.
Thank you.
So good to have you. All right. Were you still married to Gregory when he passed?
Yes, we were still married, but the marriage was ended, but we were very good friends.
But there was no official divorce?
No divorce.
But why is that so?
Because he didn't file a divorce and I didn't bother either. We lived together in the same home for so long that we didn't even think about a divorce. We were in separate bedrooms, but we shared the same common area, so we didn't even bother.
Oh, really? So you were still living together?
Right.
So your home was still Gregory's home up to his passing?
No, up to about 2 to 3 years ago.
Yes.
When he moved to a new residence that he had just bought. Yeah. At that time, the hub of his business was on Red Hills Road.
Yeah.
So, with all this gun thing and shooting on Red Hills Road, he decided to move his studio to a new location. So that's when he acquired that premises. Studio was moved downstairs and he decided to live upstairs.
Okay. And leave you in peace, or was he still bugging you and stuff?
Bugging me, no. We were very good friends. He supported me, both financially and otherwise, but there was no intimacy.
Okay, all right. So, all right, how long were you married to him?
I was married 1983, 1st of December to be exact.
Okay. All right, so what do you make of this, this Linda lady in London who is now claiming to be his wife?
Okay.
What do you make of that situation?
Actually nothing, because I am still married. I'm not bothered by her or anything. And I would love to put this to sleep right now, because the focus is being shifted to the two-wife thing, and this should be about Gregory, not about June or anyone else. I just want to keep it focused on Gregory.
Try your best just to make it quick. For my attention to sink.
Where are you? What's your role in his burial?
I'm a part of the committee, which is being headed by the Honorable Minister, Babsy Grange.
Okay.
And nothing has finalized. We're still in dialogue with her in regards to location and timing and shipping the body here.
Okay. But he was with Linda up to his passing.
Right.
He spent his final days with Linda.
Right.
How did you feel about that?
Well, then, as I said, the marriage had gone. We were just good friends. He told me when he was going to London. He called me from London when he was there. And
so you knew about Linda?
As a business associate, not as a wife. I just learned about her like probably 2 months ago.
Oh, as a wife?
As a wife.
So do you know when the marriage took place?
Not exactly, but I know it's between the 1st of August and now.
While he was sick?
Right.
But why did Gregory choose to go to London at that point of his sickness?
All right, he had a show and he told me he was going to London to do a surgery. And he said, you know, I go to England go do a surgery. I don't know what will happen, but when I come back, maybe we talk. So I said, fine. He came back another day, drop off some money, and said, all right, later. When he reached London, around about the time when he was supposed to go to the hospital, found me about 2 days later, and he said, you know, I'm not do the surgery again, but I'm all right. And I didn't hear from him from then. I heard rumors on the road that he was really sick, badly sick, and that other rumors of him dying. I asked to get a number so I could speak to him or anyone else around him. I was told that I should not get the number.
You should not? Right.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Like somebody didn't want you to know that he was not intimate or married to somebody? What?
I don't know. I don't know for what reason.
Okay.
I was just getting second-hand information from then.
But who controls his estate at this time?
I can't answer that, Wilfred. I can't answer that.
Okay. These are legal questions that...
Right. I cannot answer right now.
You can't answer right now?
Right.
All right. We want to talk. We want to delve a little bit now back into your relationship with Gregory. How did you meet him?
I was at Charter Teachers College at the time, and on a Saturday, it's freedom. So we usually go downtown to get our liquor shopping. So I entered Randy's record store to get some cassettes, and that's the time I met him. He came up to me and he said something.
Yes? Did you know of him before?
No.
Didn't like his music or anything?
Nothing. I didn't know who he was.
You didn't know?
I did not know.
Oh. Yeah, and that was in late 70s up to?
Late 70s.
Yes.
He was persistent in his in his conversation. But country girl, because I'm actually from Portland.
Oh, you're from Portland?
In like a remote area, Fruitful Vale.
And studying at Charter.
Living on campus.
Okay.
When I left there, he asked me where I was going and if he could offer me a ride. No, none at all.
You didn't take the...
No. Then I told him it was Chartered that we were going. And so he drove behind the bus. We took the 36 bus. He drove behind the bus and came to the college. So we were on our grounds now, so we're free to talk to him. So we sat under the big tree, and he was there sitting, and we chat.
But did you know by then that he was Gregory Isaacs? No?
No, we didn't talk about music any at all.
Okay. And he didn't try to say, well, I'm Gregory the Star.
No, he was so cool, so calm.
Really the cool ruler?
Yeah. Very intelligent.
Yes.
Very dapper.
Dapper.
From day one.
Yeah.
And we just chatted.
And the rest, as they say,
is history.
Is history. Okay. What about kids? Did you get kids with him?
No.
Any particular reason?
Because at that time he had about 10 kids already. So we didn't see the need at the time. We had just bought a house at East Kings House Road. He had just signed with Island Records. And we took all of them. So
you took all the kids?
Right. We had all 10 kids living there.
You became mother for all of them?
Mother. So at that time I didn't see the need for
having your own? My goodness. So what did the mothers of these kids do? How did they feel about that?
Well, we didn't just take them from them like that.
Okay.
We had arrangements.
Yes?
Yeah.
So how long you had to do this arrangement with all these kids living in the same house with you? You taking care of them?
For a number of years, up to when we were separated, a couple of years back. Some of the kids were still there with us.
Oh, really? Oh, so you're truly a mother then? So how many kids really in total? I hear up to 11. That Gregory has owned up to 11. Is it or more?
To my knowledge, 12.
12.
10 grew with us and 2 grew overseas.
But these kids were born during the relationship. Some of them must have been...
None of them.
They were born before your relationship?
All of them were born before the relationship.
Oh, really? So you had none while he was with you?
None while since I got married.
So he was totally yours. Would you say that?
I would say yes.
Top point. Even when the relationship was estranged, I'm told that people that he was still in love with you.
To this day.
Up to this day. Is that? Would you believe that? Is that true?
I would say that.
That he was secretly, even when you were fighting and so on, that he was secretly calling you.
He was calling me.
He was.
Yeah.
So the love, but did you return that love?
Well, yes.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Oh.
We just had love, but no intimacy.
Yes. So love never stopped?
No, never stopped.
Wow. So then, all right. So friends describe Gregory, people who know him very well, close up to him, as a very witty comic. He's very comical, very witty. What do you say?
I share that too.
You share that?
Yeah. I share that. It's a comedian.
Yeah, those of us who know him from music on a stage or TV or wherever, from where we stand, he doesn't appear like that. He looks very serious. There's this mystique about him.
Laconic, very
but
few
the
words.
first thing that most will say that he was very funny, very witty.
He was very funny.
And if you don't know him, you will mistake a joke for a serious attack or something.
That's true.
Yes.
That's true.
Rate him for me as a husband.
I'd give him 100 before that.
Okay, as a
perfect husband before that.
Okay. As a father.
100.
Yeah.
Proper father, proper husband, I would say.
As a man. A man, a Jamaican man with brethrens, and forget about him being a star. As a man, how do you rate him as a man? Man, his masculinity, his brethren, his life, his persona as a male Jamaican.
I'll give him 100 too. Yeah.
So top marks for Gregory all around. But you must talk a little bit for me about how you were affected by his drug addiction. How were you affected by that?
I don't want to elaborate much on that, Winford, but all I can say, I was affected.
Yes?
Yes.
It was heartbeat?
That's what caused the breakdown in the marriage.
Okay. It was difficult for you?
Split personalities, his mood swings, his aggression was unbearable at times.
Do you know why he started?
I cannot tell you why, no.
You don't know, or you don't want to tell?
I don't know.
How hard did he try to knock the habit?
He tried a couple of times to get rehabilitated, but then sometimes, the drug is much more powerful than what it should be, and then you might rehabilitate for a month or two, but you go back. I don't know why. Because how addictive that drug is as well. And then with friends around, it's still right around the corner because we're living
It's very easy to get.
Yes. So it was easy accessible.
Would you agree that it could be blamed for his death? He was just 60.
I would not elaborate on that.
You wouldn't?
What I do know that if he had done certain things differently, both his professional life and his private life could be much better. Much better. That's all I want to say on that.
Some say he was even though he was on the drugs and was always on it since he started. He was in charge. He was on top of it. He was controlling. It didn't really take him out as it did, as it has done some people.
Whatever Gregory does, he's always on top of it. No matter whether that or anything else.
Yes.
Whatever he's doing, he's on top of it. He's always in control of what he's doing.
And that he was actually making fun of it, of the use of drugs.
That's true.
He made fun of himself.
That's true.
With songs like Night Nurse, I'm told.
Only you I don't get friend
Is Night
Hard
Nurse?
drugs.
Night Nurse is?
I cannot say.
Come on, Joe.
I cannot say, Winford. I take Night Nurse to be me.
To be you?
And I want to keep it like that.
You want to keep it
like that?
Okay, and hard drugs was poking fun at himself, wasn't he?
Talking about love.
Some are saying that he was trying to say to others, don't take it.
Don't take.
I am taking it, but don't do it.
You'd always say that.
Yes.
You'd always say that. You would definitely say that.
Rumors. What's behind rumors?
So you claim that me a criminal. Rumors that spreading.
Just rumors.
That's rumors.
Just rumors.
Yeah.
Just rumors.
Wow. What would you consider to be Gregory's legacy to Jamaica, to reggae?
I'd like him to remember as a prolific songwriter, messenger, and just a humble person.
What will you miss most about him?
Some of his dramas. His drama.
You still get a lot of fun from it?
I get a lot of fun from it.
Yeah?
Yeah. As serious as it might be sometimes. Sometimes I go by myself and I just crack up.
Yeah? Wow.
He was a very stern father as well, very stern and very strict daddy. And every night him come in to make sure and count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, every room.
Really?
Right. He was a good father.
Did you actually teach?
I taught for a year.
Yes.
Just a year.
What do you do now?
I'm the CEO of Cool June Booking Agents. See, where I have the center. It's my only artist right now.
Yes.
So I'm focusing on. I'm the marketing consultant for Durham Peak Coffee Company, which is a company out of Portland, founded by my siblings from the hills of Fruitvale. And I am a trainee life underwriter at an insurance company.
Okay. Oh, wow, you're quite a busy woman.
I have to keep myself occupied.
But won't you be a big player now in Gregory's estate?
Should do. Should.
You should. But you're not sure?
Should.
You should. Okay. All right, June, I want to thank you. Appreciate your coming in and talking to us so candidly.
Thanks very much.
About the Cool Ruler.
And I'd just love to thank everyone for their support, their prayers, and just continue to pray for us while we mourn our grief.
Well, I can tell you personally that I have learned a lot from yourself and from talking to the people who were very close to Gregory, and I'm pleasantly surprised about who Gregory Isaacs really was. I'm telling you straight up, I'm surprised. I didn't know, had no idea that he was such a loving, kind gentleman behind all the bad things, the negative things that we've heard about him. Thanks again.
You're welcome.
All right, June. I'm sure I'll be seeing you a lot in the entertainment field, doing things. All right, so now you know who is the real Mrs. Gregory Isaacs. I'm Winford Williams, on behalf of all of us, thanking you for joining us. Do join us again next week for more On Stage.
My God, I believe it was a thing from the blind eyed man, just to achieve a bit. God knows I'm talking about love. Gonna let you look at this and before more and more, talking about my love. You know you get these if you want more love. And the sister with the way upon his upside down, and I like that you so low child. My God, take the breath and let the dance. Surely gonna put him down to the ground.